Alright, my book is All About Love by Bell Hooks. My name is Daniel Holdgate. Chapter 1, Clarity, Give Love Words. Quote, our confusion about what we mean when we use the word love is the source of our difficulty in loving. Page 3. The dictionary tends to romanticize love and define it as profoundly tender, passionate affection for another person, especially when based on sexual attraction. We need to understand that this isn't always true and that there's a difference between cathexis and love. In order to do that, it would be ideal if everyone grew up with the same definition of what love is and know the difference between love and cathexis. Care, affection, recognition, respect, commitment, trust, and honest, open communication are the key ingredients for love. We are taught false definitions of love as children. When we confuse cathexis, the process of investment, where a loved one becomes important to us, with actual love, it can be toxic. Individuals might feel connected to a spouse that is beating them because as a child they are taught that it was normal, sometimes that it was even for their own good. It should be obvious that it does us no good to spank and abuse our children. What message about love are we sending when you beat your wife in front of your son or daughter? Obviously a negative one. And also, our families of origin play a major role in how we learn about love. Love and abuse cannot coexist. Justice, childhood love lessons. Quote, the parent-childhood bond, which teaches us how to love. We cannot be whole human beings. Indeed, we may find it hard to be human without the sustenance of this first attachment. Judith Viorst. Our homes as children are our original school of love. No matter how happy, troubled, functional, or dysfunctional, children who are abused for their own good grow up yearning for love and question if it really exists. Children who are overindulged and never punished are also neglected and will be also confused about what love means. We must give our children a voice and rights, stop viewing them as property. It would help if we, as parents, stop viewing ourselves as absolute rulers over them. Quote, parents who come from unloving homes have never learned how to love and cannot create loving home environments or see them as realistic when watching them on television. The reality they are most familiar with and trust is the one they know intimately. This should be a clear indication that your childhood may have been abusive. Honesty, be true to love. Lots of us learn how to lie to avoid punishment as children because it would get us out of being abused. Men are especially prone to lying because of our upbringing. A lot of us grew up in patriarchal homes. This system perpetuates toxic masculinity, and we are setting our sons up for failure when we do not allow them to express emotions out of fear of being viewed as feminine. It creates an inability to connect with others. Quote, this inability to connect with others carries with it an inability to assume responsibility for causing pain. This denial is most evident in cases where men seek to justify extreme violence toward those less powerful, usually women, by suggestion that they are the ones who are really victimized by females. Page 39. Commitment. Let love be in me. We must commit to truth-telling and self-love. Many of our jobs could undermine our self-love. You are blessed if you have a job that doesn't undermine your self-love. Give yourself the love you so often seek out from others. You can never fully love somebody if you do not love yourself. The last chapter is spirituality, divine love. The author talks about religion in this chapter a lot, and I found most of it to be a little bit irrelevant. Here's a quote, though. When I speak of the spiritual, I refer to the recognition within everyone. There is a place of mystery in our lives where forces that are beyond human desire or will alter circumstances and or guide and direct us. I call those forces divine spirit, page 77. So she's presenting it, this chapter in a way where she's giving people who are not religious a way to identify with it. But it was still a little bit off topic because I feel like you don't need to be spiritual to truly know how to love. But the biggest things I took away from this book were how important it is, how important your childhood is and your upbringing, and how important it is for us to think about how we parent the next generation of kids. And I think most of us should think long and hard about whether or not our childhood really was dysfunctional or abusive, because most of us probably did not have most of us probably were abused in some way. And the book talks a lot about how there's a fine line between abuse and disciplining your kids, and there's lots of ways to do it without physically or verbally hurting them. And that's it.